All right, so welcome to this episode of Cancast. I'm here with the lovely Andrew, who is a Cancard holder. He's recently had an interaction with police, and you may have seen his gorgeous face on Sky News. We're going to have a chat to him about what happened. So thanks so much for joining us, Andrew.
You're welcome. Morning.
Really
How are
nice
you?
to see you. I'm good.
Cool. Cool.
For anyone who's watching this, we are in the middle of a storm, so we're
Yeah,
hoping that we don't blow away during
yeah,
the
it's blowing an absolute hoolie outside. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first question for you, Andrew, really is just like, how does cannabis help you in your life?
Right. I suffer from something called cluster migraines.
Yeah.
Which is a severe pain condition in the head, which causes me daily attacks. Which I have things like oxygen that I use for, and I have things like my injections that I use for. Cannabis medication doesn't help my condition itself, but it helps me deal with my condition, and it helps me to deal with the severe side effects of the medication that I take.
Okay.
It also helps me to cope with it on a day-to-day basis, psychologically. With my condition, when you know that you're going to have a severe pain episode, no matter how many times during the day, I'm unlucky, I have between 5 and 8 attacks a day.
Wow.
So psychologically for me, knowing that I'm going to have those attacks on a daily basis, it's a difficult thing to deal with. So cannabis medication helps me to deal with it on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, the medication that I take for cluster headaches is a severe medication. It's an abortive medication. We don't have anything that we can take, or I don't have anything that I can take to prevent the attacks from happening. So all my medication is classed as abortive.
Yep.
So I have to go through the attacks before I can administer the medication. The side effects of my medication is quite severe, and that's the main use of my cannabis medication. Muscle cramps, fatigue, numerous other nasty side effects that I have.
Mm-hmm.
It is all controlled with my cannabis medication on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's important to me. It helps me through my daily life.
Because cluster headaches, from what I know, cluster headaches, it's supposed to be like one of the most intense forms of pain.
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible, it's an undescribable pain. The way I describe it is, it's somebody putting a shotgun up to my face and pulling the trigger.
Yeah.
And at that point, when you are supposed to pass out with the pain that you're experiencing, people like myself, we don't. We experience that pain,
Mm-hmm.
and it's an intense pain that takes everything else away. You have no idea what's happening in the world during the attacks. You're just so focused on this intense pain in your head, which is where I take my injections or my oxygen to abort those attacks.
Mm-hmm.
But coming with the aborting the attacks comes the side effects of the injections, which are quite intense because of what they're actually doing to your body, what's actually happening inside my head. The injections calm the pain, they take the pain away, but then my body's then replaced with these horrendous side effects and feelings due to what the medication is doing inside my body. The other thing is I can only take 2 injections a day. So the other attacks that I have to rely on my oxygen, which isn't as effective as the injections in any way, shape or form, unfortunately. But it does have an effect, and it does help the pain subside. But those attacks can last anything from 45 minutes to an hour and a half at a time.
Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
It's
Cannabis is really like your backup, isn't it? It's kind of like to stop any more suffering for you.
Yeah. I can't explain the importance of it. I can't. Yeah, it gets me through the day. It literally does get me through the day. In between my attacks, coming down off the prescribed medication that I have, taking me through that period of time that I'm not having an attack, but I'm anticipating my next attack.
Yeah.
You know it's going to come. You know what you're going to experience. You know how much it's going to hurt. And to go through that on a daily basis, knowing that it's going to happen, like I say, psychologically, it keeps me going. It keeps me on the level. It keeps me able to cope with what I'm going to experience and what I do experience on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's so important to me. So important to me. It does have. I won't deny it does have pain for me. Pain killing effects, which does help. I won't deny that. But for me personally, no. It's the helping me cope with what I've got on a daily basis.
Yeah.
It's so important. So important to me.
And so you recently had police attend your address on completely unrelated matters, didn't you? Can you tell us a little bit about that, about what happened there?
Unfortunately, last Sunday, yes, I had a knock on the door at 10:30 on Sunday morning. Two policemen stood there attending my property for an unrelated reason, which I had to invite them into the house for. So I did, came into the front room, and I had my medication on the table, sat there, and they instantly arrested me straight away. No questions. As soon as they saw it, it was, you're under arrest. Okay. Which, combined with the other reasons why they were there, it was extremely stressful. So yes, I instantly produced my Cancard. Gave it to the policeman, who I've got to say was extremely good to me. The way he spoke to me, the way he sat me down before he actually arrested me, his tone of voice all the way along was, I can't, it was fantastic. Just the way he spoke to me, it was so good. But he still arrested me. He still arrested me. So he took my Cancard, took all the information off it. He actually gave you guys a ring in front of me. He took the number off the bottom and he actually gave you guys a ring. I don't know who he spoke to on the other end, but I can't thank them enough for whatever they said to him, because instantly when he put the phone down, he then rang his superior, and in front of me said to his superior, look, I've got this guy with the cannabis. He's got a Cancard. I can verify who he is. I can verify the Cancard. I can verify what their mission is. I've spoken to them. And he says, I'm not prepared to go any further with this or take any further action. And he also said, I'm not prepared to leave the premises, leaving this gentleman without his medication. So he left me my medication, and then de-arrested me. And that was it. Nothing else was said. Nothing else was said. And we carried on with the other reason that they attended my property for. But yes, it was even though he spoke to me, and even though it was a successful Cancard, what's the word? How do we
moment, stop.
moment.
Yeah,
Stop.
yeah.
Yeah. It was still an extremely stressful thing to go through. Being arrested in my own front room with my dressing gown on, unexpectedly on a Sunday morning, with my medication. But with the Cancard, it was a successful stop. There was no further action taken, and I've got to say, the thing that really did surprise me was because of the amount of medication that I actually had on me at the time.
Okay. How much did he leave you with? How much did he find you with?
He left me with a whole ounce.
Yeah.
Which yes, I was surprised about. I was extremely worried about, of course, when he arrested me, because it was just sat there in front of me. On my other stops, I've been stopped and had medication removed from me on several occasions. But they were smaller amounts, a lot smaller amounts. So having a whole ounce of my medication sat here on the table, it really did worry me at the time. And actually, when he said to me, "I'm not prepared to take it away from you, I'm going to leave it with you," I was just like, wow, thank you very much.
That is, it's really important, and really important whenever I do training to remind them just how much this medicine means to people, and just how much they, you know, even being without it for a couple of hours could create such an incredible impact to somebody's health. And potentially not being able to afford to replace that medication, what that could do to somebody, and how that could affect their lives. So I'm really pleased that that the officer made that decision. I'm really pleased that the officers do make that decision, because it is something that you know, it's a tricky area, but it's something that I'm keen to make sure happens.
It surprised me. It definitely surprised me when he de-arrested me and left me with my medication. Most definitely. I've got to say, I think how I store it and how how he found it helped an awful lot as well.
Okay. So do you have any advice for people who maybe haven't been stopped yet, since you've had that experience? I know that you said that you'd stored it particularly well in the house, and
I stick to the rules of literally how Cancard write it out for us. I keep my medication separate. I keep it in a lockbox. I keep all my cannabis medication paraphernalia in the same place. I'm also very careful on how I keep my cannabis medication. So when I first receive my cannabis medication, it comes in bud form, like most people's cannabis medication comes in. So what I like to do is I like to prepare all of my medication at the same time, and so it's kept. So I grind mine up, and it's kept in my box, ready ground. So I just go to my box, take my measured amount, and it's there all ready for me. And that's how I keep it. And even I think that when I was talking to the officer after, he didn't recognise that as something that would normally be sold on the street. It wasn't prepared in a way that he instantly recognised. He knew what it was. He instantly knew what it was, and he could instantly smell what it was. But it helped the fact that it was ground up, I think, and it was kept in one container. It wasn't kept in separate containers. It was kept as a whole. So that helped. I even keep my my little Cancard book in my medication box with my medication, and I'm so glad that I do, because it was there ready to give to him for information. But there again, I'm not going to carry that around with me on the street. So yeah, my advice is to stick to how you guys ask us to do things. Keep it a little amount when you're walking around. Just be aware of who's around you when you're out taking your medication. Not that I hide away at all. I when I'm out and about, I use my little vape here. So I'm not smoking joints out on the street. I use my vape. I am still wary of where I take my medication and who's about while I take my medication when I'm outside. Like I say, I don't hide away, but I just keep an eye out, see who's about, and then I use my medication. I don't have any fear of using my medication out on the street.
Okay, my sort of last question to you would be, after that traumatic experience, and I know that it deeply, it was a deeply affecting experience for you for a number of reasons, and it, it was a positive result. But how are you feeling safer now? Like, how do you feel now after that has sank in?
100% safer, 100% safer. I can't explain actually how it now makes me feel. I'm 100% confident now, sat in my own home with my medication. Okay, it's taken that event that happened last Sunday to bring that confidence on, but now, I'm 100% confident to sit in my own room, in my own house, and use my medication. And if there's a knock on the door, there's a knock on the door. I will show them my Cancard, the same as I showed them last time, and hopefully the same result will occur. Yeah. But the feelings inside of me, no, that I'm feeling 100% confident, 100% safe, which is a cool feeling. Okay. But like I say, it's taken that. It had to take that unfortunate event to happen to actually show me and make me realise that it works. Yeah. It actually works. And again, with the amount that I had, which at any other time would have been an instant yeah. arrest, charge.
I just feel like everybody deserves to feel safe, and particularly around their choice of medication. It's just, it's horrible that so many people have felt so unsafe for so long, and especially it's just, it's really simple. It's a really simple intervention that can help.
It's just being recognised as being recognised as a medication, A, as a medication, and B, as being a cannabis medication user. Yeah. It's no different to any other medication.
That's the difference, really, isn't it? Because I remember you said to me when I spoke to you just after the stop, you said, they actually called it my medication, and that meant a lot to me as well, because
it did.
Before you would be pinned as a drug user or, some other term.
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up, actually, because yes, throughout the whole stop, not once did he, once I'd produced my Cancard, he didn't refer to it as cannabis once. No, he referred to it as medication throughout the whole incident, which surprised me. But yes, it was a nice feeling. He wasn't calling it a drug. He wasn't calling it cannabis. He wasn't calling it anything that demonized it. He referred to it as medication, which was a cool thing to hear from a policeman's mouth. It really was. And as he was saying, as I was going through the experience, every time that he called it a medication, a little smile inside. It was like, wow, he's just called it medication. Wow, he's just called it medication. Which kind of took me away from what was actually happening at the time. But yeah, throughout the whole process, to that police officer, it was my medication, yeah. which was such a cool thing to hear.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Andrew, for sharing all of that. It's really good to hear all of that, those bits that they cut out on Sky News, and I'm sure everybody's been really looking forward to hearing what happened. So I'm looking forward to sharing it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to share it. And from me to you, thank you so much for everything that you've done, your team are doing, and continue to do, because I'm safe. I feel safe in my home now.
So you should.
And that's thanks to you guys. So thank you from my heart.